I would like to ask the Chief Minister what have been the successes and failures of his administration and what he is using to measure the success and failure of each.
Chief Minister to reply.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a little bit of a lengthy question, but I suppose if I hold that up, which all members have, so I can't be accused of not, thank you, of not contributing it to, and that's the programme for government. Our Island, a Special Place to Live and Work, Programme for Government 2016 to 21. So, Mr. President, at the beginning of this administration, Council of Ministers, along with Tynwald, developed the Programme for Government, a 5-year plan for delivery during this administration. Each quarter we report on progress being made, the successes and failure, if you will, and I'm proud to be able to stand here and read a lengthy list of successes, which include securing our sea services through capital investment in the Liverpool landing stage and the acquisition of the Isle of Man Steam Packet Company, agreeing a climate change action plan, addressing concerns about gas price review through a review of the Manx Gas regulatory agreement and negotiations with Manx Gas on the form of a new agreement as they continue. Developing secondary legislation to work towards addressing public sector pension shortfalls. Investigating concerns over the use of zero-hours contracts. And I suppose I'm not going to. I've got 3 pages of lists of things. I'm not going to bore honourable members with our successes, but I'm very proud of them. Now, yes, there are. I'm not going to say failures. I'm going to say there have been slippages, Mr. President, in the delivery of some of our plan. But if you run a business or any venture, you will set yourself targets and you will be successful on some. In other areas, you might be a little bit slow. In other areas, you've had failure. And what I have done is I've had it analysed just to see how much have we completed, Mr. President, to date. So can we say whether it's been a success or not? Now, the actions to date that we agreed, it was 180. We've completed to date 81 of those actions. That's 45% have already been completed. If you look at the performance in year 3 for outstanding actions that we've given ourselves extra to do, green, which we use the green, amber, red traffic light system, green, 47 of those actions are on target to be completed. That's 58.02%. Yellow, a risk of falling behind target, is 26 items, which is 38.10%, and red, behind schedule, not on track, is 9.87. Now, whilst, of course, I'm sure everyone in this court will be disappointed that it's not 100% green, life is never 100% green, Mr. President, and we are committing. We have departmental meetings, we have weekly Council of Minister meetings where we discuss the programme for government to see where there are problems and what can we do to bring it forward. So I would say the biggest success of this administration and this Tynwald is working together, because we could not have achieved any of this if the vast majority of us haven't worked for the greater good of the island. I've been in previous administrations where there was just too much infighting. So we've achieved a lot, but we can do better, and we constantly strive to.
Supplementary question, Ms Costain.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I wonder if the Chief Minister would circulate, I think he said it was 4 pages of successes that he had, and obviously there will be some pages of what he considers to be for either failures or slippages. If you could circulate them for members, I'd be grateful. And in the meantime, could he actually confirm whether on his successes or failures, which ones do they come under? Just a few of the things I'm thinking of: improving homelessness, improving fuel poverty, improving housing. I mean, there's quite a list of things. It should figure in one of the other, and I'm wondering if he can confirm which those 3 are on.
Chief Minister.
Thank you, Mr. President. I thank the honourable member for her comments. And yes, homelessness is something that, and hunger is something that we're working hard on at the moment. And there was an article that my honourable colleague and friend, Mr. Thomas, had published in Tuesday's Examiner, showing what has been done, where the problem's been, but showing equally the levels of support that the Salvation Army used to give to, from a hunger point of view, showing those levels going down. and at the same time the volume's going up with the food bank. But the point was to show that one provider has pulled out and another has seen a significant rise because that provider, the previous provider, has focused their attention on other areas, and fuel poverty, which the Honourable Member mentions, as one area that the Salvation Army have decided to focus on. So yes, there is more can be done. That is one of the areas where I would say we're on amber, and we need to ensure we don't slip into red because it's incredibly important.
Yeah. Ms Costain, supplementary.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I noticed that the Chief Minister didn't answer my first question. Obviously, he probably forgot while he was looking for the answers possibly to my second question, which was, would he circulate his lists of what he has, which are too numerous to read out today, for both successes and failures and or slippages?
Chief Minister.
Yes, sorry, I should have said yes to that straight away. That's a given.
Mr Hooper, supplementary.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'm really grateful for the Chief Minister actually pointing back to the programme for government in his answer this morning. I think it's quite important that we keep reiterating that that is the central cornerstone, really, of this government. It's reassuring to hear the Chief Minister mention he doesn't want some of the amber to slip into the red and some of the red to obviously get even worse. My question for him is can he maybe give us some information on what it is he's doing himself to try and push his ministers to make sure they are delivering on the actions that are set out within the programme for government?
Chief Minister.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm happy to confirm that it is a special agenda item on the Council of Ministers. Every Thursday, I ask every department, are you on track with your programme for government responsibilities? If you're not, what are the problems and what are you doing to catch up? And what is there anything else that we can do to help to put additional support in there? Nothing would give me greater satisfaction than to, in a year's time, say we've hit all our targets or everything is green. That's our aim. I'm sure we all want to see that. I live in a world, sadly, where sometimes there are slippages for other reasons. I think I mentioned Manx Gas, and I was really close to getting that sealed and delivered, and then along came climate change and our statements as a Tynwald on what we were going to do for our strategy. And obviously that raised concerns about the infrastructure, and we needed to give them a little bit of extra time to work on that as a result, because it had a key impact on their core business. So yes, that's a slippage. It's a slippage I regret, but when you look at the bigger picture, I'm giving this as an example now, you have to concede that if we as a government come up with something that's going to fundamentally alter a business, then it should be given a little bit extra just to look at the detail and when it's negotiating with us. But that is something where there's been slippage, but I think it's reasonable, and I'm doing everything in my powers to move that on.
Ms Costain, final supplementary.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Could I just ask the Chief Minister, I know the programme for government is the sort of central cornerstone of everything that this administration looks at, but there will be things that, and I would say usually successes, that are outside of the programme of government that have happened. Would he include those in the list that he's circulating? And could he also, on that list, because my original question did ask what he is using to measure the success or failure of each, and I would ask him if he would be including that when he circulates the lists of both to all members.
Chief Minister.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm more than happy to circulate. I have a document here which shows, and I think it is available to members, it lists all the items of government business in the programme for government and says where we are. It says who's taken responsibility to deliver that. It gives what is success, what's the key performance indicator, and the date that it's to be completed. I'll happily send it to all honourable members, just reminding them where we are with all the items in the programme for government. But to some who aren't on departments, I concede it won't be something they get to see on a weekly or monthly basis, but to others it will be something that they will see when they take part in their department meetings or where their department is in providing the deliverance of the programme for government.
Mr Thomas, you had a final...
Thank you, Mr President. Does the Chief Minister agree with me that in April a programme for government debate is scheduled, and for that report, as every year, there will be clear set of indicators about achievement of the strategic objectives of the programme for government, and also this year a clear indication of all the national indicators against each of the 20 outcomes, as well as performance on red, green, amber scale in terms of the actions to deliver that programme for government. And the key reference is gov.im/performance, where all the documents that the Chief Minister's referenced have been available in public for a great deal of time.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. President. I thank the honourable member for the Cabinet Office, Mr. Thomas, for reminding me of the fact that these are available and showing us all that this is an administration that is open. It wants to share what it's achieved. We may not be perfect, I'm sure, far from it, but we are doing our best, and sharing information with the public and with all of this honourable court is important. And if there are any areas where people feel that we are slipping, that maybe a department has been not as vigorous as it should be, and that I haven't pointed that out to them, then I'm more than happy to receive feedback from honourable members, and I will do my best to improve the situation.